Hi everyone. Today we are going to see pie chart. So a pie chart. In this particular pie chart, we are going to see the agricultural production in two different regions of the country. So chart in the first particular chart, we can see the agricultural production of the eastern region. In chart 2, you can see the agricultural production of the western region. So it's given in percentages. So what exactly is this percentages first? So the percentage, 20% is vegetables. Out of the total agricultural production, you can say out there is 100% agricultural production. If it is 100% agricultural production, 20% of the production is vegetables. 35% of the production is meat. So if I am getting 100 tons, if I go with 100 tons, so 350 tons of meat, 300 tons of dairy, 150 tons of grains, 20 tons of, 200 tons of vegetables. This is what the proportion is. So let's see whether the calculation is correct. 35 plus 30, it is 65%. 65 plus 20, 75, 85. Yes, 85 plus 15, 100. Okay, so this is correct. So my calculation, I can say it is 100%. Out of the 100% of the production, 35% is meat, 30% is dairy. Same with this thing. So I cross-checked. No issues there. Let me see further what's happening here. You can say what is the most produced in eastern region. So you can see out of these two, meat and dairy, these are the two major producers of the eastern regions. So these are the two major producers of this eastern region. Of this, meat is the topmost. Grains and vegetables are secondary things. Of these vegetables is something which we have to note. The western region too produce the same amount of meat as the eastern region, the same, but it produces grains more, and dairy the half of eastern region. And vegetables, they produce only 5% when compared to 20% of the eastern produce. So this is what the comparison is. So I've got a model answer here. So let me assess the model answer and see whether how well it is written. So this is the introduction and the overview of this thing which is written. Let me see what exactly it is. A clear-cut comparison of the percentage of agricultural products from both the eastern and western regions of a particular country is portrayed in the given pie charts. It's a clear-cut comparison of the percentage of agricultural products. The percentage of agricultural products, okay. It means the share of agricultural products, okay, from both the eastern and western regions of a particular country is portrayed in the given pie charts. So I can say it is better to state like this: a clear-cut comparison on the share or contribution a clear-cut comparison on the contribution of agricultural okay, share of contribution comparison of the okay, a clear-cut comparison of the share of contribution of agricultural products from eastern and western regions of a particular country is portrayed in the given pie charts. Yes, I can say that. Done. Overall, it is clear that except in the case of meat products, the proportion of production is dissimilar in both regions. You can say in case of meat, it is 35%. So eastern region, it is 35%, and western region, it is 35%. So except in these two cases, the proportion of production is dissimilar. It means it is not similar. Accepted, very clear. Now I have to move on to the next particular region. Turning to the share of agro production, you can say the share of agro production in the eastern part of the country. If you go ahead and see how the agricultural production in the eastern part of the country, meat stands first. It's said in the present tense. I told you that it is to be said because there is no specific date, there is no specific year, so it's present tense. Meat stands first with just over a third of the total. So over a third of the total, just over a third, it means 33.3%, something, just over a third. Okay, so this is what we can say. Of the total agricultural production, meat stands first. Now, the second sentence, though the western region too produces the exact proportion of meat, you can see that the exact proportion of meat is produced by the western region. Grains occupy the topmost position there. This accounts for nearly a half of the total production share, that is 45%. So I do have to look on the data very clearly. Though the western region too produces the exact proportion of meat, I can say out of their total production. I have to add that because this amount of production is different from this amount of production. If I am producing 30 tons of meat in the eastern region, it may be 70 tons in the western region. Though the proportion is the same, you might not have understood this particular thing. So here I can say that the meat is 35% out of the total. So if the meat production is 700 tons, here the meat production may be 1,500 tons. Okay, so the production may be more in western region, the production may be less in eastern region. The total production may be. I don't have the data. How much is the total produce of the eastern region? Is it comparable? No, I don't know. I don't have any particular data regarding that. How much the eastern region is producing, how much the western region is producing. It just shows a percentage out of their total. So out of the total proportion. So if it is this, if this is the amount, from this the share goes. If this is the total, from this the share goes. So I have to add this particular thing as something very relevant here. Though the western region too produces the exact proportion of meat out of their total production, grains occupy the topmost position there, which accounts for nearly half of the total production share. So here I don't need to repeat that particular thing. The production share, nearly half of the production share. So total I have already used. So I have explained why I have used the total, because this is something where we need to consider. I don't have exactly how much tons of meats or how much tons of dairy products are produced in eastern region and how much is produced in western region. I don't have a comparison. Just I know this is a total here, this is a total there. That's what we are comparing, just the percentages. So that's why we have to take care of this thing in the first paragraph. We don't need to go ahead with this thing in the second paragraph or the third paragraph, because now it's made clear. So that's the thing here. When dairy products are the second most producers in the East, you can say the second most producers is dairy products in the East. You can see that. Yes, first is meat and second is the dairy products. With 30% of the aggregate, the Western region produces only its half. Okay, so we can say the Western region produces only its half. So 30% of the dairy products, 30% of the total produce of the Eastern region is dairy products. So they told that the Western region produces only its half. I don't see that is a rational comparison here, because if I produce dairy products of 10 tons here, they might have produced 20 tons. It may be according to the total. So this is 30% of the total in this region, and this is 15% of the total in this region. So I cannot say Western region produces only its half. So this is one particular problem here. So how can we solve this particular problem? So this is a major question here. When dairy products are the second most producers in the East with 30% of its aggregate, Western region produces only only I have to do something here. So this is the first correction I have to do seriously. So I'll mark this and I'll come back later. Excuse me. The gross share of vegetables and grains in the East accounts for 35%. In the East, the gross share of vegetables and grains, so 20 plus 15%, that is 35%. Yes, of course. With 20% and 15% respectively, yes, it is clear. The least recorded rate of agro products in both regions is 5. Yes, in case of vegetables, and that is in the Western region. Yes, this is the least recorded thing. So it's clear here, it is 5%. Okay, so I do have problems in the proportions here. Here I need to make a serious correction here. If possible, I have to make a correction here too, because this 5% also I need to correct. So I need to make an alternative for this thing, except rest everything is okay. Let's see what we have to do here. So we have found the solution for this thing. So I told you that we have to make a change there. And this is the change we made. When the dairy products are the second most producers in the East with 30% of the aggregate, the Western region produces only almost a sixth of its total production. So this, when compared to this produce, it is just a sixth. It is less compared to the total production in the Western region. Dairy products is comparatively less. So I'm not comparing the dairy production of this region to this region. I am comparing dairy production of the total here. Here I am comparing of the total there. That's it. I'm not comparing this thing to this thing. I don't have any particular right to compare there, because both the things may be different. I don't have the exact proportion of how much dairy is produced there. So in that case, I cannot compare this thing to this thing. I can just say dairy production in comparison to these things. Here the dairy in comparison to these things. That's why. Okay. So the gross share of vegetables and grains in the Eastern region is 35 here. This is 35, 20 and 15 respectively. The least recorded share of agro product in the West is vegetables. Yes, this is 5 and this is 5. That's it. So we have come to the conclusion of this particular task 1. So we have solved the problem here. So the comparison is not between these two things. The comparison is within inside. So we are comparing these producers inside the Eastern region and inside the Western region. This is what we have to do. So I think it is a better comparison you can make, like Eastern region. So you frame the introduction, you frame the overview, and I suggest you in this particular case, you go with the Eastern region first, the first paragraph. Go with the Western region second, the second paragraph. That is the best way to avoid confusions there. So we are not comparing this thing to this thing because I don't know the total. So instead, we have to compare what happened in the East and what happened in the West. So that is the best way of comparison here.